Ahmed, thanks for joining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to be on my show. I don't have a name yet, but I'll figure it out along the way.
Our fan, it's good to be here. I'm excited.
Awesome. So first question is, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Ahmad Jabbir. I'm a keynote speaker that talks about mental fitness. Right now I'm focusing mostly in schools around Canada, and I'm doing corporate universities as well, but right now it's mostly secondary schools.
Okay. And you're seeing a, how should I say it, an approach similar in both like adults and children. Do they both receive you as well?
Oh yeah, so I think there's a certain trend right now when it comes to mental health where people are associating just hearing the term mental health, they associate that with illness and
Mm,
struggle. But yet when it comes to going to the gym or exercising, people do it whether they're feeling fit or they're not. It's seen as something just to do to be proactive. But when it comes to mental health, it's associated with just only when we're at a low point. And so I'm
mhm,
trying to shift that. I'm trying to talk about mental fitness, just like how physical fitness it's encourages us to be proactive. Mental fitness also does that too. We do it whether we're feeling good or we're not, and that's what I'm trying to shift. It's not a word that I made up. I think it was made like 40, 50 years ago. I think 60 actually, and but still not mainstream yet. And I believe that's the next step now that people are going to begin talking about because people are just getting so tired of only talking about mental health. But mental
mhm.
fitness, this is what like the top CEOs in the world do. This is what the top athletes in the world do. This is what monks do. They have a mental fitness routine. So, in a nutshell, I'm trying to make mental fitness routines as attractive as a physical fitness routine. And right now, everybody, literally everybody, no matter what the age group, they all need it.
Amazing. Do you have a one, let's say one practical example someone can do to work on their mental fitness?
Yeah, so a lot of times when we think of mental fitness, we may imagine meditation, and meditation is amazing. It's personally helped me out in so many different ways. Uh, Even just doing it for 5 minutes a day, that makes a big impact. But something that I really want to emphasize is just like when it comes to physical fitness, there's basketball, soccer, football, weightlifting, running, there's a variety. And we can also think of mental fitness in the same way. We can think of it as a variety because although meditation and journaling is talked about a lot, which is awesome, and they've both benefited me,
Mm,
but sometimes it's not appealing for everyone. Just like how basketball might not be appealing for everyone,
mm,
it's the same thing. So I believe that there's so many other ways outside of the typical that we can do, even just meditation. There's hundreds
mm,
of different types of meditations. There's uh, hundreds of different types of journaling. There's also just pushing our mental limits and pushing outside of our comfort zone. But one of the first that really comes to my mind is meditation,
mhm,
and specifically heart coherence meditations. I've been really appreciating those, and what they are 5.5 seconds breathing in through our nose, and then
mhm,
5.5 seconds exhaling. And it just really syncs up our brain and our hearts, and it just has made such a massive impact on my life. I'm still learning more about the science behind that specific meditation, but it's already I've noticed a huge difference in my life just practicing that. So for myself, I'm just constantly finding different ways to test out what other exercises I can do. And that's what I hope everybody does. We
yeah.
constantly trial and error what works for us and what doesn't. And yeah, that's how I would describe it in a nutshell. Are there
Amazing.
things that you practice?
Well, definitely the breathing exercises. I try to do that in the morning, so to I reset or start on a good note.
Mm,
Because I something I try to do is not look at my phone within the first 30 minutes, an hour as I wake up.
yeah.
Otherwise, it just triggers something in me, and it just, oh, I'm looking at messages, whether it's good or bad, and it affects my mood. But rather, I'd rather focus on being grounded, like you said. And those exercises you mentioned, both of them are free. we can all do them. So yeah, definitely the breathing exercise, I take it into account.
Yeah, it goes such a long way.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned that you are a keynote speaker, and for those who do not know, you've been on TEDx twice already. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And what have you learned from these experiences twice on TEDx?
Yeah, a few things come to my mind, and the first is I'm very grateful for TEDx and the organizers that are doing it in all over the world
Mm,
because it's so amazing to help give regular people a voice. Because
mm,
a lot of times there isn't really much of a platform. I mean, right now there is social media, but they create such a nice, polished way for everybody to express their voice and their story and their message, especially ideas that genuinely deserve to be heard. I've gotten a chance to hear so many over the years, and it's been such an honor to be able to go on the TEDx stage. I've also realized that what's really cool is people don't realize how accessible going and speaking on TEDx is. A lot of times when I tell people, "Oh yeah, I've done a TEDx," like, "What?" Uh,
mm, yeah.
they're so shocked, but we don't realize that they are very accessible. There's different ways that we can apply for them and finding them. And if anyone's listening right now and wants help on their application process, they can always feel free to reach out because it's similar to a job interview. We just apply, we formulate the idea, and we press submit.
Yeah.
And if they like us, we'll get an interview and so on. But it's been also another thing that really comes to my mind is doing a TEDx has helped me articulate my ideas so much better.
Mm,
Because doing a keynote when I'm on stage, whether it's at a corporate or at a high school, whatever it is, it's an hour or 45 minutes typically. TEDx, we have a maximum of 18 minutes. So to concise everything, to have everything all nicely fit, what we want to express, all within a span of under 18 minutes, that's not easy to do. So it definitely pushed me outside of my comfort zone there to be able to express my idea in that time frame. And doing that has helped improve my keynote
mm,
like 10 times more because now I understand what are the really important gems that I want to
mm,
emphasize. And another thing that really comes to my mind that's really beneficial of doing a TEDx is you're going to get yourself a very polished video. Like the video footage that we get from doing a TEDx, it's awesome, and it's helped me share with others and get my name across more when it comes to whenever I'm setting up a tour or speaking tour for myself. Just sharing that, it's been extremely helpful.
amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that. There's a lot of information that you said, and I want to go through some of them. I love the fact that you said you're grateful that giving anyone a chance to speak, and we need to be grateful for all the chances that we have in life. We're lucky we live here in west side of the world, and we have so much to be grateful for. And having an interesting subject, and for someone who is, let's say, doubting their subject right now, or they don't know, oh, am I, does my subject is my subject really novel or really unique? And then I can take it to TEDx, or maybe anyone can. What's your point on that? Anyone can talk about any point or any
Yeah,
subject.
I love this question because it's something that I've struggled with, and to this day I struggle with. But I heard this line from a friend that's completely shifted things and is always such a strong reminder for myself and I believe everyone. And that's your mess is your message. And every single one of us, we've had obstacles in our lives that gave us some sort of low or difficult period.
Mm-hmm.
And there's somebody else in the world that is experiencing the exact same obstacle right now that you got through. And this
Mm-hmm.
is why it's so important to be able to share how we got out of that mess or how we're even processing that mess if we're still dealing with it. Because having others be able to see and have that level of empathy with our story is so important. It goes such a long way, and that's why I believe it's selfish if we've gotten over a
Mm,
big obstacle and we're not sharing that. That it's a gift that deserves to be shared with people, especially that are struggling with that same obstacle.
wow, I like that. The fact that you said we're selfish if we're not sharing. Of course, like you said, a lot of people are similar in similar situations, and it's up to us to use our voice to explain what we've been through and the pitfalls, and someone else might recognize themselves in there.
Yeah,
It,
exactly. And it's like so many people on TEDx or speakers, coaches, or people that are doing businesses, or even people in fields like a doctor or a nurse. I've heard countless stories that people like from a young age, they struggled with this thing, and that's why they're in the field that they're in. You know,
Mhm,
and it's so important to pass it forward, and it goes such a long way in helping the younger version of ourselves.
for sure. Thanks for sharing that. And you touch on coaching and helping others, and as you know, a coach in communications. And my next question is related to that. How important is it that anyone is to develop their communication skills? Why is developing the communication skills so important?
Yeah. I mean, communication is something that I struggled with so much as a kid. I struggled to uh, talk and express myself and articulate my
Mm,
opinions in so many different ways. And putting in effort the past decade to learn how to communicate better has completely changed my life in so many different ways because communication is everything. People, they will hear what we share.
mhm.
I know there's this quote that's like people will forget what you say, what you do, but remember always remember how you make them feel. And communication is a part of that, not even just through the words, but
Yeah.
through the body language that we say, through the emotions, the story that we take them on. And that's why it goes such a long way to be able to learn how to communicate and be able to express ourselves, because that can be such a powerful way of making change, of also helping us get that promotion, of also helping us on a date, helping us like make friends, whatever the occasion, or speak at a meeting. Like
Mm.
in every single aspect of life, communication is present. And so it's such a vital skill that can every aspect of our life.
I think you've hit the nail on the head right there. Everything that you've mentioned is absolutely right. Communication can take us so much further with so much potential in connecting with others. And this is why we live in society. We need a community around us. And if we can't communicate our ideas, if we can't make others feel good, then what good are we in a way? And that quote that you mentioned is from Maya Angelou, by the way.
Mm. The which quote? I think I mentioned a few right
The,
now.
the
Your message,
quote
your message.
the quote where people forget what you said
Oh
and
yeah,
you forget what they've heard or what they've seen. It's you made them feel.
yeah, yeah. I love that one. I love that
I
quote.
do. I do have that on my Instagram page actually.
I love it. It's connected.
Amazing. And if we're talking about communication here, what's let's say practical advice you can give to someone who's listening to this? What can they get out of this video? Hey, at the end of this video, some practical advice on how they can improve their communication skills.
Mm. I can speak from my own personal experience. So
Yep.
I don't know if this is generic advice, but just what's helped me out a lot.
I mean, you're a TEDx speaker, so whatever advice you're going to give, I think is pretty valuable.
I still think it can be very subjective too, you know? It's like everyone has had their own path to help them with their
Yeah.
communication. And for me, I'd say it's to do it. show up, push ourselves
Mm,
outside of our comfort zone, whether it be going to a Toastmasters, signing up for that meeting, or even help finding someone to guide us. Whatever action step we take, whether it's finding that coach, showing up to that meeting, just do it. Like they call it communication skills for a reason because it's like a muscle,
mm.
and whether just like going to the gym, we work out, we get stronger. It's the same way. Reading about communication is one thing, but actually doing it, it makes a whole world of a difference. It's just like going to the gym. We can read about exercises, but actually
Yeah.
just doing it, that's what's going to help us out the most. So whatever path or step we take, just do it.
Amazing, powerful message. And a lot of times we have certain activities or certain events that we delay or we're afraid. It's more like an afraid in our head more than an actual thing. And then when you actually do the activity or you actually do what to go to the event, you come out of it and you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I survived it. So it's just repeating that, and facing. What I like to say is facing your fear. Go on, face your fear. Whatever, if there's something that you're afraid of, go for it because
Yeah.
there will be growth outside of it.
Yeah, for sure. I am curious for yourself, what's helped you out the most in your communication?
For me, I think it's been building my credibility both at work and now as a communications coach. It has helped me develop my confidence, has enabled me to speak in front of a group, and I would say a bit of respect even. Whenever you become, let's say, a subject matter expert in a subject, and you become that person that everyone goes to, and you develop that respect for, hey, whatever you're going to say as advice, I'm going to take it because you have done the work on it, you have put in the time, you have put in the effort, and whatever you are about to say, I'll take it as good advice and I'll apply it right away. That's something that I think I'm slowly building, and I can see some of the results with some of the people I coach now.
Yeah, I love that. And is there a certain exercise or thing that's helped you out get there the most?
One example is me and you, we've been in Toastmasters, and something that I think we've been practicing is being able to speak on the spot,
Mhm.
doing improv questions, being able to think that, being able to find ideas, creativity, being able to perform or talk in front of a crowd with not much time or not much preparation. That's one exercise that I think I would like to keep going, to keep practicing, and I see the benefits.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, definitely. And my next question is something about you. Is there a communicator that you admire, whether it's in your circle, in the world, someone you look up to?
Mm, I'd say Tony Robbins. It's a classic,
Oh,
a cliche one, but I've always really appreciated the way that he articulates his word, the passion,
Mm,
the energy he shows up with. He definitely is one of the best, if not the best speaker in the entire world. And it the amount of work he's put in to get there, it shows.
mhm,
And because he's worked on every single aspect or micro skill within the realm of speaking to help him get there. And that's someone that I really admire that I want to be able to one day speak like him and articulate like him and show up on stage like him with a
mhm,
level of
mhm.
passion. Another person that really comes to my mind is Simon Sinek. I
Yeah.
really appreciate the way he articulates
Oh yeah.
his explanations. It's just so he gets very complex things and makes them so digestible.
Yeah.
And that's not hard. That's not easy to do. So that's something I want to learn to better be able to do as well.
Yeah. I feel the contrast between these two guys, Tony Robbins is very much high energy, can take an entire room, an entire conference room. And Simon Sinek can do the same, but he seems more composed. He seems more, how do I say, relaxed. And he seems like a very good listener to me. But I love the contrast between the two, and both are amazing communicators. They can probably motivate an entire conference room by themselves, but it's just two really distinct styles.
Yeah, for sure. Are there people, another person or two you'd add to that list too?
Actually, I was when you were talking about Tony Robbins, I was thinking about, do you know who his mentor is?
Jim Rohn?
Yeah, Jerome. I've listened to some of his audio and I love his voice. I absolutely love his voice.
I love that.
I
I love
love
that. Actually, I don't think I've heard much of Jim Rohn. I forgot how his voice sounds like, so I'll check that out
he has
after.
like a raspy voice and very motivating in every sense of the word. So sometimes I stumbled upon his videos on his audios on Spotify, and now I just want to listen to him. I just can't stop listening to him.
Yeah, I mean, once we find that right person for us,
Yeah,
it just becomes addicting.
yeah, definitely. And my last question for you is, what's next for you? What's next in your agenda?
Yeah, so I just finished my spring tour all around Canada in well, in 4 provinces, and I'm gonna have a fall tour now with 6 provinces,
Wow.
which I'm very stoked by. And starting September for this school year, I'll be speaking with over 30,000 students, which I'm very, very excited about to introduce this concept of mental fitness to them. Just I want mental health to be more cool.
Hmm.
And right now, just talking about it as mental health, it's just there's a disconnect with a lot of people, as I've
Hmm.
said earlier, and I want to make mental health practices more digestible, and which is where mental fitness comes in, and it's something I'm very stoked for. So September, it's going to be a very busy 10, 12 months for myself starting in September, but I'm ready. I really, this is exactly what I've wanted for so long because I've been doing speaking now full time for about 10 months, and I'm finally living the dream. It's something I've always wanted, and I'm extremely grateful for this chapter in my life.
Amazing. And that's a different type of audience with kids, right? So it's, I guess you have to tailor your message or tailor whatever you're saying to them, have a, maybe less of a, I don't know, vocabulary that adults would understand. How do you ensure that whatever you're trying to say, they are receptive to it and they understand?
Yeah, yeah. So something I want to clarify too that it won't be all high school students. It's going to be a mix of some corporate and
Okay.
teachers. Actually, the first keynote of the tour will be for 400 teachers, which
Oh,
I'm
wow.
very stoked for.
Big.
But something that I've learned from my mentor is a great keynote is like a Disney movie. You know, the
Mm,
whole family watches a Disney movie, whether it's the grandparents, the parents, the kids. And so 90% of my talk, it is the same exact thing for every single age group. There's a 10% where I customize, but the other 90%, it's meant for to be digestible for any age. Because the
good.
moment we begin complicating and adding a bunch of words, all of a sudden people are already so exhausted with whatever career or school that they have. So I try to make it as easy, digestible as possible for every single age group. And I think it goes such a long way, I find. Because I know I've appreciated that a lot when I'm sitting in an audience and the speaker is just using like simple
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
You know, the moment it's complicated, it just my ears just block it off unless I'm
Right.
specifically at a certain setting where I want to learn very specific and niche things.
Hmm. Hmm. You're right. You're right to make it as simple as possible so that everyone can understand. And
Yeah.
I like this analogy. It should be a Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Mentor taught me that.
That's amazing. Well, Ahmed, it's been a real pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for taking the time to answer my questions. And as always, it's always so nice to connect again with you. And I hope we can do that again some next time.
Likewise, Irfan, I'm really glad that we've crossed paths the past like I think 2 years ago now
Yeah,
in Montreal. So it always is a pleasure to connect with other people that are just as passionate about like communication and bettering themselves. So I'm really excited for this, and I hope someone took away something from this conversation.